Super Hexagon.
Hey, so this is Andrew. We're going to pretend that this isn't the third time I've done this because I'm terrible with some. I stopped the echo though, so points to me there. I finished Hexagoner in hyper mode while you weren't looking. I don't have a recording of that one. It's not like Hexagon where I was just like do and finished it while watching Brent. I apologize for that, by the way. Not that anyone cares. Nobody cares about the footage they missed of this either. There was a 56 run. After work, I should be able to meet up with her. And it won't be 3 in the morning. 3:30. Whoops. Also looking at the screen right there. I need a timer set or else I'm not gonna stop. But I should. We'll stop eventually. Although that's not my mom felt on Thanksgiving about me playing this game. She was very relieved when I was playing Mother 3. She talked about how this game looked like it was going to hypnotize me and make me do their bidding. Which, to be fair, it kind of does if you don't know what's happening on the screen. I can't play this game when it's too late. I need to go to bed. That's what I keep saying, and I keep not going to bed, and I keep trying to make this video. The audio should actually balance now, hopefully. Anyways, I was talking about how on my computer, I just don't have any games that, what's the phrase? Like, I have Spec Ops, and I'm going to be playing the Spec Ops, and Hexagon, I think, and I also don't have any, I don't know what I was saying. That's the problem with this. I have no clue what I was just saying. Anyways, I better be fixed, because if I have to record this again, I'm going to cry. And I probably will, even though I should have gone to bed hours ago. Actually, speaking of which, I should retainer, dang it. Oh well. Well, wait now. Better late than never. Well, if you put it on too late, the retainer breaks. You should have just not done the fun. It was going to break. That was embarrassing. Always wear a retainer if you have one. You'll save yourself a lot of money and trouble. Although at that point I didn't. It wasn't me who had to spend it. It was my parents. But they're expensive. I had to replace one recently because I can't grind my teeth when they sleep. My word. I feel like it was, I got a weird, they're like plastic see-through ones. I'm not exactly sure why people choose them over, regular ones, but my parents did, so they're what I have. Whoops. They work when you wear them. When I worked, they were so embarrassing because I had forgotten to wear them, and we had to go get new ones, and they had to refit my teeth and everything. As it turns out, my bottom teeth did not go as far out as did my top teeth. My top teeth did back to where they were pretty much. Oh, no, anyways. But so, the game I wanted to play next, Sonic Adventure 2, Battle, for the GameCube. Because I liked that game a lot when I was younger, and I think I still like it a lot, but I honestly don't know. I know there are a lot of really great ones from it, that I just love, because they're just amazing. Like, lines that encapsulate pretty much the entire reason I like Shadow the Hedgehog. The Shadow the Hedgehog is the single most hilarious game I've played in forever. I do not know what they were thinking when they made that game. Oh my word. But it's not, I mean, to be fair, Sonic and the Black Knight and the other story book one I've played, I don't know if they've released any more than those two, because I'm not keeping them anything like they should. But anyways, I'd be playing SN2 for the GameCube and not the remake for the PlayStation 3 that I'm sure looks really pretty, because I don't have it for the PlayStation 3. I don't have the resources to get, you know, anything right now, actually. Looks like free food at work. because it's free food. I can't think and talk at the same time. That's the third time I've said that at least. I say it about 500 times in each one. Talked a lot about Sonic last time. The storybook ones though are like, I like what they do, but I would like to point out, as I said before, and you will never hear in that video because you actually can't hear me over Hexagon's audio. Because I remember Sonic games with these weird rosy lenses, which is weird. It should be more like a blue tint. That's the second time I said that. Like, I did not remember that at the end of the Black Knight that they made Sonic King Arthur, because I was so dumb. And I did not remember it, and I was like, that didn't happen. And I was like, oh wait, it did.
Game over.
Why did they do that? And I just... I don't, but, incidentally, if you told my younger self, not, my really younger self, because my really younger self would be like, Sword plus Sonic was awesome! If you told, my slightly older younger self that they were going to make a Sonic game with a sword, I would have been like, that sounds really dumb, and, like, they shouldn't do it, but they did it. They did it pretty well, on the whole, if we ignore the ending. Endings can ruin books. In game, I'm sorry, I was thinking of Foundation and Earth. Oh my word, I'm so offended by that. The Foundation series is so great, and then he's like, yeah, I'm going to explain why he made this decision, and that was a terrible plan, Asimov, why did you do that? I keep radiating off on different branches in each video. Oh my word, I cannot explain. I actually wrote a paper, because I was like, Asimov does not adequately explain this decision. And they all, actually there was one convincing thing somebody was talking about, and they're like, well, hey, this robot's here, and they've been all arguing this entire time, and they all suddenly agreed. Coincidence? And I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, actually. But Asimov spoilers. I suppose if, for whatever reason, you haven't read Foundation series. Not that that matters. Nobody's watching this anyways. I love Asimov. I've been reading his early works, and I must say that I do feel, I've been reading recently, I finished it a while back. When Asimov makes like an overall end, I do feel like it gets weaker per se. He actually has one where it's like, I was like, why did you just, I think it's the weapon to deadly to use or something, and at the end they're like, oh yeah, we got rid of the weapon, and I'm like, yeah, and then the humans attack you and you die. And apparently he actually got that note from somebody else who read this story, and you're like, yeah, so I'm not sure what to think from the beginning of that one. But that's weird, but that was, early Asimov, so it's not like he was like, I don't know, I think he was still in high school at that point. I like his work from then, too. I probably would like the ones he says are better off lost. But, that's just me. I cannot tell you how offended I am by Foundation and Earth. It's not even, like, the majority of the book is hunky-dory, and it's like, oh, this is fine, and then you get to the end, and you're like, why? That did not explain the decision. You should not have written this book, because the end is what, like, that is the reason that book exists, and I would have preferred that there was a bogus we can't know answer rather than aliens. I'm not even joking. That's literally the answer. Aliens. I would say more, but as it is, I don't want to be spoiling, all those people who have watched this, have not read Asimov's Foundation series, but plan on reading it, which I'm sure encompasses all of 0 people. Actually, wait, the first subset made it 0. Nobody watches this. Well, I do, and I already fulfilled the reading its requirements. Okay. Talk about Asimov. But anyways, I don't know what to talk about. I don't have, my gameplay in this game is terrible. As I said in the first time I played it, if I finish Hexagonest in hyper mode, ever, I will be the worst person to have done so. I'll be part of, I think it's like 3%. I wish it were like the 1%, so I could be like, I'm part of the 1%, and they'd be like, you are? I'd be like, yeah, I finished Hyper Hexagon. On Steam, at least. On Steam. But it's like 2 or 3%, unfortunately. Alas. But I'll be part of a weird subsect that doesn't have the, like, they didn't give me the one for being Hexagon. I beat Hexagon again and again to try and get it. They won't give it to me. It's because I beat the, first stage when I was in the car, and apparently it refuses to give you the trophy after that point, because, you know, they hate me. It's terrible. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. How do you survive through such a terrible personal tragedy? Okay, so there's something I talked about before, and I don't know how I got to it. And I keep wanting to talk about how much Foundation and Earth just sort of ripped me. Okay. So I'm going to dedicate the last 3 minutes to this of this video to going in more actual detail of why I don't like Foundation and Earth Sending. Did I mention I wrote an essay about this in college? I also wrote an essay about comparing Darth Bane and Raskolnikov, because those are 2 comparable characters. It was actually the first thing that came to my head for that essay. They're pretty well in it too. I did not dedicate the last 3 minutes properly. Let's retry that. So, for that subsect that hasn't read it and hasn't already been too spoiled, going to talk more, because what had happened in the previous installment is that I can't remember anyone's name because I haven't read the books in too long. Black Box Brain Man had decided that everyone needed to meld together into Gaia, and if you don't understand, you don't understand, it doesn't matter. So basically, he's like, okay, the entire universe, we're all going to become one super organism, stupid, what's individuality purpose. And you're like, okay, Black Box Brain says it's the right thing to do, and then Asimov says, you know what, we need an explanation for Black Box decision, and you say, if you say so, Asimov, it should be a good book, because it's by you. And then the majority of the book, we're like, okay, and we go through and we see how these individuals, we actually see one where they have the extreme of totally isolated people being super powerful individuals, which I did not get when I was first reading as like an example of what we were supposed to be taking as what happens when you become super isolated. As opposed to Gaia, which we have already seen, and she's able to draw upon the power of the entire planet for this privacy. Anyways, but so they go off and they find the robot, and then basically they're all like, so they think I can't, you know, like, yeah, how is that the right decision, you know, what's individuality, blah blah blah. They get the robot, and then they're like, you know what it is? Aliens. If there are aliens in a different galaxy, we would all be spread out if we're not in Gaia, and we would all die. And they're like, if they're, that's it. That's literally all the explanation Asimov gives. And he's like, yep. And you're like, you know, no.